My name is Jane Marquis, and I'm the coordinator of the Early Childhood Adventures program. Our program cares for nearly 70 children per day, ages 6 weeks to 6 years. We are an early care and education program that strives to provide quality and joy in the work that we do each day with our young children and families. Can't say we reach it every second, but we try really hard. We are a New Hampshire state licensed child care center. We are a designated statewide Strengthening Families program, and we are a nationally accredited child care center through the National Association for the Education of Young Children. The pin that I often wear, and I've given to many people in this audience, denotes that. It has the circle of children. The work that we do is evidence-based. It's practices and research that have been done through scientific associations as well as educational associations. Some of the most important work we do after health and safety is to promote pro-social development. That aids in helping children to understand about taking turns or sharing or being kind to each other. I think some of you can agree there may be adults who maybe never got that concept. It's very important that children grow socially, emotionally. That's what helps form their citizenship in later years, their lifelong love of learning, all of that. When we devise our curriculum, we really rely on some of our most important, I guess I would say, commodities, our teachers. We have some of the most wonderful staff in early care and education, I would say, in the state of New Hampshire, if not nationally. Some of the families we work with come from very chaotic, multi-stress, traumatic backgrounds. Not just the children, the parents, the co-parents, the guardians, and whatnot. So when we're working with a child, we say we're working with a whole child. And because the children that we serve are so important to us, we try to study up and keep our continuous quality improvement going. And some of the things that we learn about, the reasons we do what we do, is to understand brain development of a young child. Like a house, the brain is built from the bottom up. Early experiences set the foundation for the architecture of the maturing brain, establishing a sturdy or fragile base for all the learning, health, and behavior that follows. Brain architecture supports lifelong learning, behavior, and health. Early experiences shape the brain's architecture. Very important to note. Simple skills come first, and then complex skills. You build on concepts. A strong foundation in the early years improves the odds for positive outcomes, and a weak foundation increases the odds of problems later. There are neural circuits wired in a brain, and as a child, 700 synapses formed per second in the early years. How do we try to enhance brain development, and how do our teachers do such a brave and wonderful job of it? They use what we call serve and return relationships. A child needs something, wants something, has to express themselves. The teacher responds in a caring, educated, and very trained way. They know what they're doing. The key to forming the strong brain architecture is the serve and return for all you tennis players, volleyball players. Relationships young children have with supportive adults in their lives. It does last a lifetime. When children reach out for connections and communications with adults, and adults reciprocate, this back and forth process continues, literally wiring the brain with connections needed for healthy development. Our infants don't cry for more than a minute. Our teachers are so responsive right up through 6 years old. Children's needs are met, and they are cared for and responded to constantly. Serve and return interactions with trusted adults are the active ingredient in the brain building process. When we ensure that young children's environments are full of serve and return experiences, we are ensuring a strong foundation for later development. One of the things that we strive in our quality and joy every day, and working with our multi-stressed families at times, is to really derail what's called toxic stress. Toxic stress is what can really hurt social emotional development, brain development, and love of lifelong learning. Unlike mild, short-lived stress that we all go through, like my clammy hands right now, that can be good for growth, certain types of stress can weaken the brain's architecture. Abuse, neglect, exposure to violence, being a witness of violence, can cause toxic stress responses in the brain with lifelong consequences in health, learning, and behavior.